Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The glitzy and intense protagonist of the Forrester universe, Brooke Logan, is well known for her passionate tears, which can be shed in response to treachery, sadness, or just plain annoyance. Even her closest supporters, however, are perplexed by her sobbing outburst this time. What is Brooke crying over now? Is it the most recent development in her sporadic romance with Ridge Forrester? An altercation with Taylor Hayes, her rival? Or is it something more profound, something that could destroy the basis of her life itself? The scenario opens with Brooke standing in the Logan estate's opulent living room, holding a letter in her shaking hands. Although her face is marred by tears, there is a sense of resolve in her eyes that suggests that she is not simply depressed. It's obvious that this is a deeply personal matter and not just another dramatic outburst. Brooke has faced her fair share of scandals, broken hearts, and intense rivalries over the years, but she has always been able to get back on her feet. But this time, it seems like a completely different kind of grief is weighing down her tears. As is so often the case, it begins with Ridge. Brooke and the mysterious designer have always had a tumultuous connection that has brought her both happiness and sorrow. Rumors of Ridge spending more time with Taylor started to spread just as Brooke believed they had finally found stability. Brooke has always been troubled by Ridge and Taylor's relationship, which is based on their shared past and affection for their kids. However, things are different this time. In addition to getting back in touch with Taylor, Ridge has been doing so covertly, going out with her for coffee dates and having lengthy chats that Brooke was never supposed to hear about. Ridge's response to Brooke's question about it was frustratingly evasive. He refused to make eye contact and maintained, "Taylor and I are just talking about the kids." Despite her instincts telling her differently, Brooke said, "You don't have to make this into something it's not." Like so many times before, she could feel the familiar ache of betrayal seeping in. Brooke couldn't help but worry if history was repeating itself as the memories of Ridge abandoning her for Taylor in the past came flooding back. But Brooke isn't just bothered by Ridge's intimacy with Taylor. Additionally, there is the issue of Hope Logan, her daughter, who has been having difficulties in her own relationship with Liam Spencer. Ever the protective mother, Brooke has attempted to provide Hope advice during the highs and lows of her marriage, but it appears that her attempts are being ignored. The recent exchanges between Hope and Ridge and Taylor's son, Thomas Forrester, have only fueled the flames. Given his propensity for manipulation and his disturbing obsession with Hope, Brooke feels that Thomas poses a threat to her daughter's happiness. A furious quarrel resulted from Brooke's attempt to alert Hope about Thomas. "I know what I'm doing, Mom," Hope's voice was brimming with frustration as she snapped. Brooke's heart ached when she recognized how distant she and her daughter had become. "Thomas has changed, and you need to stop treating him like he's the enemy." All she wanted was to keep Hope from making the same mistakes she had, but it appeared that her advice was being written off as intrusive. Not only does Brooke have to contend with Ridge and Hope, but she has also been at differences with Steffi Forrester. Brooke has always faced up against Steffi, the daughter of Ridge and Taylor. Steffi is a continual threat because of her tenacity and intense devotion to her family, whether in business or personal affairs. Steffi has recently made no secret of her opinion that Taylor is a better fit for Ridge, and she hasn't held back when reminding Brooke of her previous transgressions. Steffi remarked, "You'll never be good enough for my dad," after a heated argument at Forrester Creations. "Brooke, you've harmed him too much." When Steffi said, "It's time for you to step aside and let him be with someone who actually deserves him," Brooke's typically witty retort failed her, leaving her stunned. She felt even more alone after the encounter, as like the whole Forrester family was working against her. A mystery letter that was delivered to Brooke's door without a return address only made her problems worse. The letter's alarming contents include a number of accusations that might destroy her well-planned existence. Brooke is accused in the letter of ruining Taylor's career, controlling Ridge, and even being involved in a long-kept family secret. Brooke is aware that some of the allegations are wildly inflated, but others are frighteningly personal. Brooke is forced by the letter to face some difficult realities about her past and consider the identity of the person responsible for the vicious attack. Brooke is crying uncontrollably as she walks around her living room. She feels imprisoned, unable to break free from a web of rivalries, accusations, and heartbreaks. However, there is a glimmer of resilience amidst the chaos. Brooke has endured too much to allow herself to be defeated at this point. She wipes away her tears, inhales deeply, and makes the decision to confront her issues head-on. Confronting Ridge is the initial step. Brooke is aware that she must definitively investigate his relationship with Taylor. She needs to know the truth if there's even a remote possibility that Ridge is not being completely faithful to her. Equipped with the letter and her concerns, Brooke makes her way to the Forrester mansion with the intention of speaking candidly with Ridge. Brooke then intends to contact Hope. Brooke is aware that her daughter is in greater need of her assistance than ever, even in spite of their previous arguments. She chooses to take a different approach to Hope, one that is more understanding and less critical. By demonstrating empathy, Brooke seeks to restore their relationship and assist Hope in seeing Thomas's wider vision. At last, Brooke shifts her focus to Steffi. Even though their rivalry might never be fully settled, Brooke understands that she cannot allow Steffi's remarks to hurt her feelings. She makes the decision to concentrate on enhancing her own standing at Forrester Creations and demonstrating by her efforts that she is deserving of respect and acknowledgement. Brooke finds herself at a turning point as the dust starts to settle. Although the obstacles she faces are formidable, they also offer a chance for development and rejuvenation. Originally a sign of her suffering, Brooke's tears now serve as a reminder of her resilience. She is prepared to battle for the life and love she deserves, even though she may be depressed. A woman who has experienced more heartache than most people can imagine, Brooke Logan, is once again enmeshed in the never-ending emotional cyclical pattern that characterizes her relationship with Ridge Forrester. But this time, the betrayal stings more keenly, the grief is more intense, and the déjà vu feeling is nearly unbearable. Brooke feels as though Ridge, the guy she has loved unconditionally, is stuck on repeat, repeating the same mistakes and having her relive past hurts that have never fully healed. Brooke is left wondering if their love story is worth all the suffering it causes as her heart breaks again. As is often the case, it all starts with Ridge's incapacity to establish clear boundaries with his ex-wife, Taylor Hayes, who is also the mother of his children. Despite Ridge's repeated declarations that Brooke is his true love, his behavior usually betrays his words. Brooke has never been able to completely eliminate Taylor's influence in Ridge's life because of her steady manner and unwavering support for their family. Brooke is now marginalized and must once more watch the man she loves go on to someone else while Taylor and Ridge get closer under the pretense of family matters. Ridge chooses to spend an evening with Taylor, Steffi, and Thomas, supposedly to talk about family matters regarding their grandchildren, marking the start of the most recent chapter in their story. Ever the compassionate partner, Brooke urges Ridge to leave, believing his motives are pure. However, Ridge's evasive justifications only serve to heighten Brooke's uneasiness when he doesn't get home until the wee hours of the morning. Without looking into her eyes, Ridge murmurs, "It was just a long night." Brooke, however, is more knowledgeable. She senses the gap widening between them, one that Ridge doesn't seem ready or able to fill. Ridge's conduct grows more and more unpredictable as the days go by. He starts abruptly canceling plans with Brooke, claiming that Taylor is usually involved in job commitments or family problems. Ridge gets defensive and accuses Brooke of being crazy when she tries to discuss her worries. With a hint of annoyance in his voice, he states, "I'm just trying to be there for my kids. Why must you make this about yourself all the time?" The charge hurts, making Brooke feel ignored and unworthy, as if her feelings are a burden rather than a legitimate way to express her suffering. Taylor, who is always the epitome of calm, seemed to be enjoying her newfound bond with Ridge in the meanwhile. Her behavior suggests otherwise, despite her insistence that her goals are pure. Taylor's actions, from lingering touches to deep looks, make it obvious that she still loves Ridge and isn't scared to stand up for him. The realization is awful for Brooke. Although she has always been aware that Taylor had feelings for Ridge, witnessing those sentiments materialize in real life serves as a harsh reminder of her shaky hold on their relationship. Ridge's loyalty is tested at a Forrester family get-together, which serves as the tipping point. In an attempt to present a united face with Ridge, Brooke shows up at the event to find him engrossed in a conversation with Taylor. Brooke hears Taylor laughing at a personal joke as she gets closer, her hand lightly resting on Ridge's arm. Brooke can't take the sight any longer. Am I disturbing anyone? Her voice quivers with a mixture of hurt and rage as she asks. The harm has already been done when Ridge, taken by surprise, stumbles out an excuse. Feeling like an outsider in her own relationship, Brooke is humiliated. In a furious altercation with Ridge later that night, Brooke lets loose all the resentments and fears she has been suppressing. Why do you continue to treat me like this? Her voice cracks with anguish as she demands. You always manage to ruin things when I believe we're at last at a decent position. Do you even give a damn about how I feel about this? Ridge, who is obviously uncomfortable, finds it difficult to speak. Using the moniker that used to make her feel special but now feels hollow, he continues, I'm not trying to hurt you, Logan. I simply have a lot on my plate at the moment. However, Brooke is not content with his evasive assurances. She yells, that's not good enough, Ridge. I must know our current situation. Do you still have feelings for Taylor, or are you with me? Ridge's hesitancy says a lot. She feels more uncertain than ever despite his lack of confidence, even if he eventually insists that Brooke is the one he wants. Brooke is crying as the conversation comes to a conclusion because Ridge's hesitation is weighing heavily on her heart. Brooke starts to consider the patterns that have characterized her relationship with Ridge as she struggles with her feelings. He has vacillated between her and Taylor before, and this is probably not the first time. Ridge has repeatedly failed to commit, trapping Brooke in a never-ending cycle of pain and hope. Nevertheless, she is unable to leave in spite of everything. She has centered her life around Ridge, her soulmate. Even if remaining with him negatively impacts her emotional health, it feels tough to let go of him. Brooke finds herself looking for comfort in unexpected places amid the chaos. She confides in Hope, her daughter, who provides a new insight on the matter. With compassion in her voice, Hope replies, Mom, you deserve better than this. The words strike a chord with Brooke, sowing the germ of an idea she has long been too scared to consider. What if she were to prioritize her own happiness, even if it means letting go of Ridge? Ridge needs to make a choice, and if he can't, then maybe it's time for you to choose yourself. Ridge keeps delving farther into the same old routines while Brooke mulls over her next move. Flowers, romantic dinners, and sincere apologies are some of the extravagant gestures he tries to regain her trust, but they all seem like band-aid solutions to a much bigger issue. Brooke starts to see through the facade and realizes that Ridge is acting more to allay his own guilt than to deal with the underlying causes of their problems. She begins to wonder for the first time if their love is really worth all the suffering it causes. The moment Brooke finds a picture of Ridge and Taylor from a recent family outing marks a turning point. Despite appearing benign, the image feels betraying. Brooke knows then that no matter how much Ridge says he loves Taylor, he will never be able to let her go. Brooke has the insight she needs to take charge of her own story after coming to the devastating yet freeing revelation. Brooke starts to re-establish her identity as the days stretch into weeks. She gives her all to her work at Forrester Creations, finding happiness and contentment in her artistic endeavors. Instead of attempting to save her relationship with Ridge, she spends time focusing on her personal happiness and re-establishing contact with old acquaintances. Even though their most recent disagreement still hurts, Brooke begins to envision a time when her love for him won't define who she is. As Ridge sees Brooke retreat, the repercussions of his actions start to set in. He begins to see that the lady he loves has been lost because of his incapacity to move past the past. However, it might be too late by the time he realizes this. For the first time in her life, Brooke is thinking about what it may be like to live without Ridge, where she puts her own needs first and won't accept anything less than the respect and affection she is due. Ultimately, Brooke's loss serves as a driving force behind her personal development, a painful yet essential phase in her quest for self-awareness. Brooke starts to break away from the cycle, prepared to write a new chapter in her life, one in which she is the creator of her own happiness, while Ridge finds himself trapped on repeat, making the same mistakes and chasing the same ghosts. Because of years of passion, heartache, and the inexorable pull of familial ties, Taylor Hayes and Ridge Forrester have always had a timeless love story. Nevertheless, outside influences, miscommunications, and the constant presence of Brooke Logan have frequently tarnished their relationship. As time seems to be settling in, Taylor and Ridge find themselves at the edge of something new after decades of alternating between reunions and separations. They look forward to a fresh start, one in which they intend to put their turbulent past behind them and rediscover their former love. In the middle of their hectic lives, their story takes an unexpected turn during a peaceful moment. After years of vacillating between the women who have shaped him, Ridge starts to consider the decisions he has made. He is aware of the suffering he has caused and the dreams that have been dashed due to his indecisiveness. Taylor, who has always been the voice of reason, has had enough of waiting in the wings as the understanding, patient person. Both of them experience a flash of insight as they realize that their future together cannot resemble the past in any way. Recognizing their history together is the first step. The two start talking about what they really want going forward, rather than assigning blame or discussing previous mistakes, while seated in Taylor's cozy and welcoming living room, which is filled with pictures of their kids and grandkids. Taylor responds quietly, "We've spent so much time focusing on what went wrong," in a steady yet tearful voice. Ridge, whose normally brazen manner is softened by the weight of her remarks, nods. "Perhaps it's time we start thinking about what could go right." He acknowledges, "I don't want to continue hurting you, Taylor. That is not fair to you." "Better than me," Taylor says, shaking her head while a tiny smile appears on her lips. "Ridge, I'm not looking for perfection. All I'm asking for is honesty." That integrity serves as the foundation for their fresh start. They face the problems that have harmed their relationship for the first time without outside intervention. Ridge talks candidly about his unresolved remorse over the suffering he inflicted on her and their kids. Taylor expresses her own worries that Brooke will always be Ridge's favorite. Instead of the complicated web of misunderstandings that once characterized them, these open, candid discussions provide the groundwork for a partnership based on respect and understanding. Taylor and Ridge take comfort in their common past as they attempt to mend their relationship. They relive memories and make new ones as they take lengthy walks on the beach where they used to stroll as a young couple. In an act of kindness, Ridge restores a painting that Taylor had done when they were married, surprising her. The deed rekindles a spark that has long been dormant beneath the debris of their history and serves as a reminder of the inventiveness and passion that initially drew them together. A significant part of this new chapter also involves their families. Having frequently been caught in the crossfire of their parents' strife, Steffi and Thomas express cautious hope toward the reunion. With hopeful eyes, Steffi declares, "You both deserve to be happy. But you need to make sure this time is different." Their kids' support serves as a reminder of the risks involved as well as a source of inspiration. In addition to mending their romance, Taylor and Ridge are also mending their family. Of course, there are difficulties along the way to their fresh start. Ever a shadowy figure in Ridge's life, Brooke finds it difficult to believe that this time he has really picked Taylor. There are tense times as a result of her attempts to weave herself into their story, but Taylor declines to get involved in the same old conflicts. She firmly tells Ridge, "I won't fight for someone who doesn't want to be here." Ridge's respect for her is only increased by her self-assurance and confidence. He starts to see her as a partner with whom he can create a future, not just as the mother of his children or the woman he once loved. Taylor and Ridge find a new rhythm as the days stretch into weeks. They rediscover the basic pleasures of life together, such as laughing at old jokes, sharing morning coffee, and helping one another through daily obstacles. It's a surprise for Ridge. He starts to realize that love doesn't have to be a theatrical affair or a never-ending struggle. Love seems solid, rooted, and incredibly satisfying when it's with Taylor. For Taylor, it's a long overdue confirmation that she is Ridge's actual partner and not just his backup plan. Additionally, their rekindled bond brings out the best in them both. Ever the sympathetic therapist, Taylor is motivated by Ridge's steadfast support to start putting her focus into other career pursuits. Encouraged by Taylor's faith in his abilities, Ridge, in turn, finds a new purpose in his job at Forrester Creations. When they work together, they truly become a team, supporting and encouraging one another as they work toward their respective and mutual objectives. Their efforts have culminated in a silent but profoundly important commitment. Taylor and Ridge choose to take things slowly rather than jumping into marriage or making big public announcements. With her palm lightly resting on Ridge's, Taylor states, "This isn't about proving anything to anybody else. It's about us." Ridge concurs, his eyes brimming with an unwavering honesty. He declares, "Taylor, I'm all in. I'm all in for the first time, honestly. They have matured as a couple and as persons, which is demonstrated by their choice to go gradually but purposefully. Their friendship is stronger since they are not the same persons they were before. Although it no longer defines them, the past will always play a role in their journey. Rather, they gaze on the future with optimism, hope, and a renewed sense of direction. Ultimately, Taylor and Ridge's new beginning represents a reclamation of their identities and happiness, not merely a new starting for their relationship. Taylor sees it as an opportunity to rise above the shadow of her previous heartbreak and accept the love she has always been due. Ridge sees it as a chance to finally end the cycle of uncertainty and make a sincere commitment to the woman who has supported him throughout it all. They set out on a journey together that promises to be unlike anything they have ever encountered. It will be characterized by love, trust, and the conviction that they are stronger together than they could ever be apart, rather than by drama or uncertainty.